All right, let's get back to work into session 8. This is what I do all day. This is my fucking job. Just wish I could get some fucking money for it. Whatever. Don't you get money for views or something? Can I get views? I would be bitching. I'd be able to afford a decent fucking dating site, meet a woman, and take her out for dinner. See what happens next. I'm fucking looking for a woman right now. I can't afford to take her out anywhere. Kind of my fucking position of things. You know, just sit back and keep fucking reading and building until I can fucking afford to take you out, ladies. Anyways, I was raised in the Roman Catholic school system in Ottawa, Canada, and my entire method of thinking is directly taught to me by them. Um, support your local Roman Catholic education system as long as they haven't gone fucking Americanized or some shit like that. Um, and like I don't know, especially my high school was Holy Trinity, in Canada. Well, I went to St. Paul's first, and then when St. and Holy Trinity opened up, I transferred over there. I was part of the first cohort into Holy Trinity, and the whole high school was full of just amazing teachers. Like we got taught world religions and respect and critical thinking and STEM and theology and we got to the Holy Trinity offered a list in the 90s when I was going there. It offered like a triple A elite education for people. Anybody that ever went to Holy Trinity can pretty much attest to that. And there's so many formative. There's like Mrs. Caldwell, my art teacher. I was an art homeroom. Art is my homeroom. It was my homeroom. Mrs. Caldwell, Ms. Caldwell. Sorry, Grace Gale. Ms. Caldwell, I borrowed so many books off of her for art references that some of them never got back to her, and I really apologize to you for that. But they really formed, large portions of my personality. Going, I borrowed books from people. Like I had, I don't know. I read Aristotle and when I was young, and Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. And those weren't Caldwell's. Those were I was well known for being a stoner and a joker and a role like a Dungeons and Dragons guy, and I also played football and a goalie in hockey, and I had a pretty well-rounded. Like I really did have a great childhood and great people, great community around me, and great friends, and it's just I grew up in a great city, and I've been through hell and back, and raked through the coals a few times, and met Charon himself a couple of times, although I didn't pay my passage yet. Um, um, uh, we were taught world religions and respect for each other. It wasn't a matter of we were better than them. It was we were taught that we coexist with people who understand each and every day that the sun rises in a completely different manner. And maybe we should follow it, Jesus Christ of Nazareth said, and respect each other. So, what was taught to me in Holy Trinity is really at the core basis of my entire pillar of thought, pillars of thought, sorry. Um, Ms. Caldwell was my homeroom teacher, but I had a couple of there was so many teachers that were formative for me, but Mr. McGovern, it was Terry. It was the guidance counselor. His brother was a music uh, teacher. Terry McGovern got me into football. He contacted my mother, and I played for the Nepean Redskins a little bit. And who else? Ms. Hanson. Ms. Hanson was my law teacher, and if anybody ever had Ms. Hanson, you'd know the caliber of student that she would have expected to produce. Um, One that could stand on the divine stage and argue that the kernel of Westminster Parliament is not the Magna Carta, but Watankamot, the Witten Moot. Um, the Magna Carta was nothing more than a surrender document because, according to the ancient traditions, according to the Witten, kings swore a sacred oath for their office, and when kings violated that sacred oath, their soul was forfeit and their lives were taken from them. And, anyways, it is the basis of that. Anyways, the barons, 50 barons or so that were named in the Magna Carta, were pissed off at the king at the time for him violating his sacred oaths of the Witten. And the Magna Carta is simply a surrender document restoring the ancient order and recognizing it. It is not a new legal basis theory. I don't know what bill of goods you've been sold, but you have erred in legal precedents. Um, Legal precedents for the Westminster Parliament should originate in the Witten and not the Magna Carta. Anyways, yeah, Hanson was one of my favorite teachers. My favorite teacher of all time was my English teacher, father of my best friend, Alan Dickinson. God bless you, Alan. I hope you and Sandra are doing well. I love you very much, sir. Alan was my English teacher and one of my best friends throughout my life. I wish him very well right now. Matthew is like my brother from another mother, and I was the oldest out of three in my family, and Matt was kind of my older brother, kind of growing up, and has always been that. He literally is family. Not all family is blood related. Matthew is my family. I love him very, very, very deeply. And we tell each other that we love each other. And that was the core basis for me telling my friends that I love them too, because maybe they don't hear it often enough from other people. Spread the love, man. One love. Fucking Marley said it right, man. Smoke weed and, spread the love, man. It's so fucking hard, man. Everybody just chill and relax. I don't know why you're all hopped up on alcohol and fighting, but smoke a fucking joint and chill with your brothers and sisters. Anyways, so let me see. That was Caldwell, Hanson, Dickinson. Who else? There was a couple of other ones that should have. Mr. Kennedy actually should have. I had children at 16, 17 years old. Kate and Emily were born February 22nd, 1995. And they're still, even though I don't see them, they're a massive part of my psychology and my inherent respect for people of all genders. They taught me to be soft. I was kind. I'm a kind person. I can be a kind person, but they taught me to be soft and respect the gentler side of the human condition. I miss them very much. I love them very deeply. They chose not to talk to me anymore. Um, some point. I don't fault them for that. Whatever. I just miss them, and I'd like them to know, Kate and Emily, I love you very much, and happy birthday in advance. I hope both of you have a day that is memorable and that you'll, you know, always reflect back on, well, with fondness. So, Kate and Emily were teachers for me. Mr. Kennedy was my alternate school teacher, and Mr. Kennedy was great. I was a joker, and I was a pot smoker and a midnight toker, and I crashed at a friend's place a lot, and he would actually. I was just down the street from alternate school, so if I didn't show up in time, Mr. Kennedy would give me a call and wake me up and get me to come down to school, and I'd make a coffee and get back to work. And I was studying like ancient history at that. I was studying philosophy and was reading Robespierre and shit like that in all high school. And, philosophy, law, art, English. There's a teacher that I should be mentioning right at the top of my charts, and I don't. Mr. Pelche. Hey, Mr. Pelche, it's Jamie Trowan. I love you very much, man. Certain things about you that taught me to be a man, and your own manner. Mr. Pelche is a fucking. He is a no nonsense. He does not suffer idiots. And I was acting like an idiot just to egg him on because he got angry at me. He threw erasers at me, like the fucking chalkboard erasers at me. He threw fucking chalk at me. Holy fuck. And I was making cartoons of him, egging him on. Holy shit. I'm a terror on that man. Sorry, Mr. Putz. I didn't mean to be such a terror, but I was egging you. I did it out of love. I really respect you. And I always did every day since the day I met you. You're just really cool. And I just wanted to get a rise out of you. You know, family does that. And yeah, there's so many other teachers. I can keep going on. I want to get back to world building. Anyways, I was raised in the Roman Catholic school system in Ottawa. Uh, Anybody who ever went there knows that it's a elite tier thing paid for by taxpayers because, Catholics are taxpayers as well too, and they deserve our style of education. I think everybody that has a religious group can agree that, the neoliberal world order's got to actually just shut the fuck up and let us understand the way, our things the way we understand them. And like, they can be atheists all they fucking want, but not all of us are. So why don't you shut the fuck up and let us fucking understand things the way that we understand things? Let her have her education systems. Like, you know, you can grow up in a public fucking education system as much as you want. I'm not saying that it's not good for you. I'm just saying that that's your jam. That's your sandwich. You at some point said back off and let us have our own sandwich, and we said okay. So back off and let us keep our sandwiches because I'm not against like Middle Eastern shit. Like, I'm really kind of pissed off at pedophiles and shit, but that's a different matter. It's a conversation I have with somebody across the veil. It's another argument. It's not that I invalidate everything that they believe in. It's just that I have a deeply personal argument, debate going on with your spiritual leader. But that's our own personal jam because there was every human being was a complex person. But you know, broken clock can be right twice a day. But if your broken clock is a pedophile, maybe you shouldn't be listening to the fucking clock. there's other clocks to listen to. Anyways, ding dong. So, anyways, but there's a lot of like, I mean, like, why did you have to supplant Egyptian culture? Why did you have to supplant Persian culture? Why did you have to supplant Bedouin culture? Why did you have to do that in the name of a fucking pedophile? I'm just calling that out, man. There's certain conversations I have with heaven and different understandings, and it's even coming from Hebrew side too. Like they're calling it out too, man. Like they're also calling out, free Palestine. Like, from what I hear from a bunch of the Hebrew archetypes and whatever has become living in me, the old ways, they lived coincided. It wasn't all conquest and death, you cocksuckers. They lived in Palestine. Palestine was a Roman province. They lived in a Roman province, and you're eradicating that Roman culture that is also their family. You didn't think there was intermixed shit? Like, you don't think families are larger than one religion? Or how myopic is your historical view, your theological view, and your genetic view? You blasphemous cocksuckers. You God loves Hebrews. Hebrews are just one of the many chosen people that he has because God is planetary. God is all over. God is in the heavens. God is God. And Abraham taught us that. And um, um, Zionism is a sickness, but um, your belief system is not. It's the thing to understand about the Bible, that Old Testament, uh, is that it is a Semitic cultural history while living in a region surrounded by Indo-Europeans and Afro-Asiatics. And that is a context that you have to look um, for the Old Testament and everything written in there. And if you want to hang with the old boys, the silverbacks, and theologically, and I'm only on the other side of the afterlife, then you have to treat them with the respect they deserve, and that's the respect they deserve. But I mean, that's just uh, you know, they were warning against false idols, what they believed in, because they were trying to push their own city gods. Like, I mean, gods like went transitioned from animism, storm, like environmental factors, and that transitioned into city gods. Once we started storing grain, I mean, we had stationary positions. I mean, one of the first things we did was create gods for that, and archetypes in our minds passed down mnemonically to make sure that people kept fucking storing the grain and traveling 100 feet away from camp to shit so you didn't fucking poison the water, and like we didn't have a whole lot of medicine back then and hygiene understanding. So like, there was certain things like just be careful with shellfish and pork and like, a lot of that stuff, and it's like it's cultural mimetics for survival. City gods was a creation of that. It was think of that as an encyclopedia of all of those little traditions, and then you have your encyclopedia being a city god, and that city god can be looked at as Baal or El, and then Baal is just Lord of Lords, and then you got the fucking other elves, El. I mean, that's an example of a city god, and that's just one city god. I can go through so many more city gods. Anyways, and the Indo-European towns around the area that they grew up in, they had the palace. The palace was it was the maypole. The maypole in the center of town was a wooden pole. You generally like we had our own totems, like like we're very similar. The entire ancient world of all of humanity was very similar because we all came from animism and much tens of thousands of years older understanding of our conversation daily with what humanity considers as divine. And if you take a look, they were burning down those wooden maypoles to in this cultural theological war goes all the way back, tens of thousands of years. My God is better than yours. Basically boils down to my city is better than yours. And that's why the original office, like we were talking earlier in another video about, the guards of the grain and the bosses of the guards of the grain. Well, those bosses, because the city god was a cultural mnemonic of your ancestors, what to eat, city traditions, and all the rest of that was comprised into proto little religion, and that's why like every city's religion was different. And I like your proto gods, city gods. The kings at that point were not just kings; they were priest kings. Like the office of priest and king was not originally separate. Um, it was one office, and because somebody had to make the sacrifices, and somebody had to do that, and the old way, it's been passed down many times. And the old way is, the ones that are going to be um, calling for the sacrifice have to be the ones that do this, perform the sacrifice. So, if you're calling people, you're demanding people go to war and sacrifice their lives, then you should be on the front line yourself. You should have led the front line yourself. You should not be calling for war unless you've led war or unless you've bled in war. Like that's what I believe in. I think that's what, or you're very well educated in war, like properly, like West Point type of shit, man. You know, tabletop games or TTRPGs or I mean, there's a lot of joking about it now, but that's how military commanders have always, throughout all of human history, since we stored the grain. We've been playing TTRPGs to understand positioning and forward motion, attacks, flanks, constricting features of terrain. I mean, it all boils down to just playing a tabletop game, man. I mean, that's military theory right there. Uh, I'm creating my own TTRPG. Welcome to Aldara. We could be playing this fucking Warhammer style, but it's gonna be more my jam. Um. Anyways, I was able to smoke a joint, figure shit out. Hopefully, the Bank of Montreal. Like, I'm contesting those charges that happened on my bank account January 27th. Can you please just remunerate me? Because you take one fucking look at that and you can tell that's suspicious fucking bullshit, man. That ain't me. That ain't Jamie Patrick John Philip Rohan. That ain't James Patrick John Philip Rohan. I don't know what the fuck that is, but that the fuck ain't me, man. That's not my call. That's not my charge. I want that $117 back. I don't, I don't call it bullshit unless there's actual bullshit there. When there's smoke, there's fire, man. So, I don't know. I'm kind of off in the weeds here now. I'm gonna go for a smoke, make another coffee, and back to session whatever next. I think this is session 8. All right, folks. I'll be back in a bit. This is what I do all day, every day. Now you're just gonna be brought in to my personal area of existence. All right.